So you're thinking about a career as a mine geologist. Well, you've come to the right place. We've got all this info from RoleCatcher, and we are ready to dig in and unearth what it takes to make it in this field.
Yeah, it's definitely a career path that's a lot more complex than a lot of people realize.
For sure. Not just about, like, hitting rocks, right? So let's start with what a mine geologist actually does every day.
So you've got to think of it kind of like this. They're like the detectives of the earth, They use all their knowledge and expertise to find these mineral deposits that are hidden underground. And it's not just about, finding a shiny rock. They really have to understand how the earth was formed and all the geological processes over millions of
That's
years.
like a giant 3D puzzle they're trying to solve.
Exactly. And just like a detective, they have to be able to communicate their findings.
So that's where the mine managers and engineers come in.
Yeah, exactly. The geologists give them all the info they need to make the big decisions about how and when to mine the resources, or even if it's even possible. So they've got to be able to explain things clearly and understand both the science and the realities of mining.
And from what I'm seeing here in these RoleCatcher articles, the work environment can really vary, right? One day
Yeah.
you're in a lab, and the next you're out in the field.
Absolutely. It's one of the most exciting parts of the job. I mean, you could be like analyzing core samples under a microscope one day, and then boom, next day you're out in the mountains, looking for the next big mineral deposit.
Sounds like you gotta be in pretty good shape for this job.
It's definitely demanding, both physically and mentally. You got to be able to think on your feet, be adaptable, and work independently sometimes in some pretty challenging situations. But it's super rewarding if you're passionate about the earth and love a good adventure.
And speaking of rewards, let's talk career progression. These RoleCatcher articles lay out a pretty clear path, from junior geologist all the way up to chief mine geologist. Can you walk us through what that journey looks like?
Sure. So most people start out as a junior geologist. They're eager to learn the ropes and gain some real world experience. They could be doing all sorts of things like assisting senior geologists on exploration projects or gathering data out in the field or like analyzing samples in the lab.
So it's really hands-on learning in those first few years.
Absolutely. Building that strong foundation in the theory and the actual practice of geology, mineralogy, and geological mapping. Then, as they gain more experience, they take on more responsibility and eventually move up to a full-fledged mine geologist role.
And that's where things get more specialized, right?
Right. You might find your niche focusing on a specific type of mineral deposit or a particular geological region or even just like a specific mining technique. And at that point, you're leading projects, you're mentoring junior geologists, and your expertise is crucial for deciding like the whole direction of the whole mining operation.
And then for those who really want to climb that ladder, there's the big one. Chief mine geologist. What kind of responsibilities does that role have?
At that level, you're basically leading the whole show. You're in charge of all the geological aspects of the mining operation, from exploration and figuring out the resources to planning the mine and even managing the environmental impact.
So it sounds like you not only need that deep understanding of the science, but you've also got to have top-notch leadership and management skills to succeed.
You got it. You need to be able to see the big picture, how everything fits together, the geology, the engineering, the economics, and even the social responsibility aspect.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating blend of expertise and leadership and a whole lot of responsibility.
Absolutely. And, we can't forget about how important mine geologists are to making sure that mining is done responsibly and sustainably. That's something these role catcher articles really highlight.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just about getting the resources out of the ground. It's about doing it in a way that protects the environment and benefits the people who live nearby.
Exactly. Mine geologists are really on the front lines when it comes to balancing resource extraction with taking care of the environment. They work with environmental scientists and engineers to come up with mining plans that create as little waste as possible, reduce pollution, and make sure the water stays clean.
So it's like they're not just digging up the Earth's treasures, they're also protecting its future.
Exactly. And they're getting more and more involved in planning for when a mine closes down too. They're making sure that when a mine has reached the end of its life, that it's, restored properly so that the land can be used for something else.
So you need to know a lot more than just geology to be a successful mine geologist. You need to understand environmental science and even social responsibility. It's a really multifaceted role.
It really is. And on top of all that, AI is changing the whole recruitment game. So how you show off your skills and experience is more important than ever.
Very true. We can't forget about technology. So let's talk about how someone who wants to be a mine geologist can stand out in such a competitive job market. What kind of advice are these RoleCatcher articles giving?
Well, first of all, they say it's really important to tailor your CV, on your resume to match what each job is looking for.
So no more sending out the same generic CV to every mining company out there.
Nope, not anymore. These days, AI systems are often the first ones looking at your application, and they're scanning for keywords and the specific skills that are mentioned in the job description. So you got to make sure your CV is speaking their language.
That makes a lot of sense. So how does RoleCatcher help with that?
Well, they've got this really cool tool called the CV Resume Builder, and it's designed to help you figure out exactly what skills employers are looking for in each role.
So it's like having a secret weapon to get your CV past those AI gatekeepers and into the hands of a real person.
That's a great way to put it. And even when you do get an interview, it's important to be prepared for the fact that AI might be part of the process, evaluating how you're doing.
Okay, now that's where things get really interesting. What does RoleCatcher have to say about how to ace an interview in the age of AI?
Well, they've got this really interesting tool. It's like AI-powered interview practice. Basically, it's like having a personal coach analyze your every word and movement.
Wait, so you're telling me I can practice my interview with an AI? Like,
Yeah.
it'll tell me if I'm, using too many ums or if I'm slouching or something?
Oh, it goes way beyond that.
Huh.
It actually analyzes your answers to common interview questions and then gives you feedback on how clear you are, how well you structure your answers, and even how well you're conveying your skills and your enthusiasm.
Mm.
It's almost like you're getting a sneak peek into the interviewer's mind, and you can start to understand what they're really looking for and how to present yourself in the best possible light.
Wow, so it takes all the guesswork out of preparing for an interview.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing the right answers. It's about knowing how to deliver those answers in a way that really resonates, both with human interviewers and AI algorithms. It's about letting your passion shine through and showing them what you know and how well you can connect with people.
That's pretty incredible. So RoleCatcher really gives you all the tools you need to navigate this whole new world of AI-driven recruitment. But let's say you do land the job. How does a mine geologist make sure they stay on top of their game in such a rapidly changing field?
It all comes down to never stop learning. RoleCatcher really stresses the importance of being a part of professional organizations, like the Society of Economic Geologists or the American Institute of Professional Geologists.
It's like they say, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yep, that's the truth. Going to conferences, staying up to date on industry publications, connecting with other professionals on LinkedIn, all of that helps you stay sharp and keeps you growing. You might even find a new area of specialization that really sparks your interest.
That's what's so cool about this field. There's always something new to discover, both literally and figuratively. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of mine geology, what final thoughts would you share with all those aspiring geologists out there?
Remember, this career goes way beyond just rocks and minerals. It's about really understanding the Earth's history, uncovering all those hidden treasures, and then using that knowledge to develop those resources responsibly so that everyone benefits.
It's about making a real difference in the world.
Exactly. So as you start your journey, keep in mind that your skills and your knowledge are incredibly valuable, and they can help us create a better, more sustainable future for everyone.
And that's a great note to end on. It's about recognizing the responsibility that comes with uncovering the Earth's secrets and then using that knowledge to make the best choices for the future. That's all for this deep dive into the incredible world of a mine geologist. Keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one leading the next generation of Earth explorers. Until next time, stay curious.